Yeah, I'm just gonna give my thoughts on Daima so far as a whole, and uh, I think starting off, you have to start with episode one, of course, and I was honestly a bit confused as to how they would try and incorporate Daima into the already established Dragon Ball world post Super, given how Super ends, uh, and with the crazy power levels that are established in that show. I was wondering how they would go back to something like Goku being a kid and go to Daima, and it was actually pretty interesting what they chose to do, which is cover the I believe it's a 5-year time lapse between the Buu Saga and the start when Beerus shows up, at least in the movie. Maybe it's shorter than that, but that's basically what they've done, and I think it was actually a pretty good choice to focus on something like that, and just the premise was Goku and the cast being turned into kids and stuff. And I think, a lot of people's minds just went straight to GT uh because, that was also something where Goku was already a child and they wanted to or he was already a grown adult and they wanted to artificially turn him in back into a child to like get like the original OG Dragon Ball vibes. And GT I don't think had as much success even though, Super Saiyan 4 is raw as heck. But yeah, that's what they chose to do with Daima, and I think they're doing like a pretty good job with it because I'm pretty sure Akira Toriyama had more involvement with this series. Rest in peace to him. Uh, in this series than he did with GT, and I think a lot of that charm comes off. Uh, and yeah, like like Glorio is still like a bit of a mystery, as whether or not he's like a good or bad guy, but. Uh, as it's progressed, it started off, Daima as a whole started off like kinda, I think, pretty boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm totally down. Like the vibes were immaculate. I think like the intro and the outro, and given Akira Toriyama's passing this previous year, I think like the vibes for the show have been pretty immaculate and very good, but nothing like super crazy was happening for the most part. It was uh, it was very well polished. That was one thing I really liked about Daima so far is that the show is like really polished, and it's good to get like some good looking Dragon Ball. With when you see like what kind of anime is getting released nowadays and how insane the animation is. And when Super was airing, there was like a lot of criticisms about its animation, especially episode 5, I think episode 27, and some others there. But for the most part, Super suffered from animation and scheduling and stuff. But Dragon Ball Daima is really polished, and it seems like they really got their stuff together for Daima. And you know, for most of it is like Goku's just being very nerfed, it feels like. But when he has that first fight with Tamagami number one, oh man, I think that was the episode where like it really kicked off. Like the action was really, really good. Like we'd seen like some good action, but it was mainly Goku just kind of defeating some bad guys and stuff like that. But once we got like Goku versus Tamagami number three, that was sick. That was sick. And then for me personally, I think Super Saiyan 2 is just such a sick form. So I was really glad that he actually busted that out and it wasn't going to be ignored like how Super Saiyan 2 sometimes does get ignored because of it's not as big of a change from form to form like Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 2. It's not that much of a change, but thankfully uh, I'm glad they recognized it for Daima and they actually showed Goku basically one shot Tamagami 3 with his Super Saiyan 2 form, and that was really sick. But for the most part, it was nothing crazy until we got to one of the most recent episodes of Daima, which had Kid Vegeta going, or Mini Vegeta, as he's called, being just. I mean, wow! I was not expecting it. He went Super Saiyan 3 against Tamagami number 2, and wow! I mean, that was like, okay, so this is what Daima's cooking up. I did not know his writing was that fire. You know what I mean? Of course, only say that to reference the meme. Akira Toriyama's writing is amazingly fire. When he gets pen to paper, oof, it's a masterwork, straight up. Believe that. Um, but yeah, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, like that episode was just so well animated, and it was just really refreshing to see like a really hype form that we only saw that in Heroes and stuff, uh, you know, uh, but it's like really cool to see that like in what's supposed to be canon, and you know, I know a lot of people have been like, uh, or maybe not a lot, but I'm sure there's people out there who are bothered about like the retcons with Patara and power levels and stuff like this and that, and like, oh, what is this relative to that? I tr- honestly, with Dragon Ball, like, I don't really pay much attention to it because I feel like, it's really not focused on, you know, that that maintainability of previous knowledge. There's a lot of retcons, and I mean, I'm all good for it. I think it's fine, but it does and make me end up like not uh taking pretty much taking everything with a grain of salt, really. So I wouldn't really consider it the biggest deal, like if they're rewriting stuff or retcons this or that. But so far, Daima, like, it started off pretty boring. Like, it was like a nice little show, but it was kind of boring. Like, uh, you know. I'm sure a lot of people would have just preferred Super come back and they continue something from the manga. Uh, which would have been fine, I guess. But they went with Daima, and it was kind of slow, and I'm sure a lot of people are just waiting for the dub, which man, the dub seems really cool to me. I think I'm really glad they got the OG Kid Goku voice to dub Goku in the show, and yeah, but I think these past couple episodes they've been straight fire, and I'm sure that Daima will definitely finish strong. I'm really hoping for it that they can come clutch, uh, because we're getting like new villains and stuff. We have Glorio. We don't know exactly where his allegiances align. We have Dagasu and Arensu, I think, Supreme Kai's sister and brother, and of course Goma, Supreme King Goma, uh, and I think, and of course the Do, Majin Ku, and Majin Buu. Of course, Majin Buu isn't in the show, but he's not like a villain in the show, but he is definitely mentioned a lot, and I think it's really cool to finally get like some lore about Majin Buu and how he was created. Because I remember there was like fan manga about how Majin Buu was created, and that was like the closest we got. I mean, of course, it wasn't canon, but it was interesting. Uh, and they retcon like, oh, Bobbity or Bibbidi didn't actually create Majin Buu. He just kind of he just kind of strolled around with him or whatever. Um, it was actually like the little demon lady who Arensu is working with, and yeah. Uh, but these past couple episodes of Daima have been really good, and I am excited to see where the rest of the series goes.